Have some quick updates. Been working on this a little bit. Trying to get ready for what the next phase is going to be, which is going to be the door, I think. But I got the air cleaner put back on up here. Kind of an interesting design. Had a new air cleaner element that came with it. Kind of nice. I got the washer bottle hooked back up. The pump isn't priming. It's basically a hose that runs in. There's a little pump on the dash, and then it runs out to these two jets. It's not priming. It had a lot of dried soap in it, that canister. So I'm guessing that that dried soap is all over that thing. So I'm going to have to get some compressed air and mess with that. But other than that, I just kind of cleaned it up a little bit. A little bit of paint here, a little bit of paint on the bracket for the heater valve, which I got freed up. I filmed that, but didn't think anybody wanted to watch me struggle with this, so I didn't put it up yet. I probably never will. But yeah, we're pretty much under the hood, guys. There is one thing that I found, I don't know, in some of the videos, I might have left it in or not. I was struggling because I thought that we had an oil pressure issue because when I turn the ignition on, this red light comes on. And I'm like, and when we would start the car, the red light would go off. So I'm like, oh, that's the oil pressure light. Makes perfect sense. Not true. After struggling and squirting oil over the garage, testing that sender, that is not the oil pressure light. The guy did give me the owner's manual, and I was able to use it like a normal person and find out that the oil pressure light is this orange one next to it, which you'll notice isn't coming on. The red one is a reminder, this is what the manual says, it is a reminder that the key is in the on position, and after you start the car, if it's charging, it turns off. Well, if you'll remember, I was testing the oil filter housing with the generator unhooked, so that's why the light wasn't coming on, or going off. I figured out what's wrong with this, the oil pressure light. I also fixed, with the headlights on, I fixed this light here, the little blue light, and it was just annoying me that it wasn't working. This orange light down here, I would have thought blinkers. You put the blinkers on and it flashes. Nope. This is actually for the oil filter. It's a warning indicator to tell you when to change the oil filter. I don't have any idea how that works. I don't know if it does work. Seems like a system that someone probably disabled, but we'll see. Not really that worried about it. The fix for the oil temp sensor, or the oil pressure sensor, is coming today, which is actually, and I struggled with this because I didn't realize that somebody had messed with it. So it's this guy down here, and you can see it's got two wires on it now. When I got the car, it only had the one wire on it, but it's a two-wire sensor. So these things are typically, power goes in, well, ground essentially comes in, and when the oil pressure has got pressure, it opens or it closes, and then you get, ground coming out, and it turns a light on. And that's the wire I hooked up here. The thing is, the way this system, this is not designed to work in a system like this where you have ground at zero pressure and you have no ground at pressure. This is designed to turn a light on when the pressure goes low by grounding out that light in there. Well, it's not doing that because this pressure sensor is basically open all the time until there's pressure. Then it closes, which is the opposite of what we want. But just to make sure I had oil pressure, I hooked a jumper up to send it to ground. So now when you start the car, the oil pressure light comes on, which is the opposite of how it should be, but I've got the correct single pole sensor coming today. It was a $7 whole off of Amazon. I'll throw that in. That'll get that light working better. So yeah, that was the oil pressure debacle solved for. Got some lights over here cleaned up. I'm about to install the ashtray. He had taken it out. It basically is this plate, which bolts up here, and then there's an ashtray. I'll put it in because I have it. Hazards work. I think I showed some of this in the other video. Like, the hazards work most of the time, and the blinkers are actually working now. I found some loose wires on the back of the module up under the hood that does the flashing. So I got those working. The radio turns on, comes on, but I can't hear anything. Could be the radio's cooked. I'd have to find the speaker to know for sure. I don't have any idea where the speaker is. It's probably just a bad speaker somewhere. Looking up underneath there, I'm not really seeing a speaker. But different problem for a different day. I'm going to get the ashtray installed. Heat already works. I'm going to vacuum this all out. There is a little bit of work to be done aside from vacuuming on the interior on this seat. I don't know if I'll film it or not. I have a pretty cool vinyl repair kit that's designed for little cracks and stuff like this. There's a little crack here, and there's a couple little cuts in the seat right here. That is literally the only blemish on this interior. Even the dome light started working, but the bulb is broken. I have a bulb coming. So with all that being said, it's time to turn our attention to the door. So I'm going to do a whole video on the door, I think, the door and the fender. So I'm going to pause this one, and that way I can kick that one off. But yeah, I just figured I'd give a quick update on where we're at. It starts, it runs, it goes into gear. It's not dripping oil anymore. I don't know, you guys probably can't tell with the kitty litter down there, but the leaks are more or less solved. I'm probably going to have a small drip out of that torque converter, but certainly on a British car, I mean, the true story is if they are not dripping, that probably means they're empty. This car is going to be no exception. So if it's leaving a drip or two, great, doesn't matter. Not taking the whole car apart to fix that. The other update is what I thought was a rod knock is gone. All I've done is change the oil. It's literally all I did. I put in the correct weight oil. I don't know what he had in it before. I isolated the knocking. It sounded like it was in here. I don't think one of the lifters or one of the rocker arms was getting oil for some reason. So I was going to take all this apart, but I'm like, let me just change the oil first and make sure I'm starting off with a good baseline. Completely solved it. So I don't know what the noise was. Fresher oil, I mean, it's still, people are going to say, and they're probably right, oh, you could still have a rod knock because the better oil, maybe it's thicker and it's sealing it up, but I don't know. Usually when they're knocking, especially when you're on that decel, you hear them, I don't care what oil's in it. So right now it's good, it's fixed. So yeah, next up video is going to be the door and the fender. And I'll make those videos sort of separate, but you know, we'll as you can see, we need to have the door and I have an NOS fender because this one's full of plastic. But yeah, different video for a different time. Thanks for watching. Would love it if you liked and subscribed because I'm trying to build the channel and be able to bring more videos out on different cars because the Austin is almost done. Thanks again for watching and I'll see you soon.